and welcome back to Books and Budgets, where I am trying to be intentional with my money in a world where the cost of living just seems to go up a lot faster than my income does. My name is Ruth, and I want to show you how I keep my budget on track on a weekly basis. So, let's do this. For those of you who saw my first ever budget video, where I was planning for my second paycheck of March, I have discovered what you probably already saw. Some of these numbers didn't add up, okay? If you add all of these to here, you do not get $9.25, you get $8.05. Can you see that? I'm not sure if you can see that. But I discovered that I left something out. I'd mentioned up here where I said I transfer this money to savings. It's an automatic transfer, and it's for insurance premiums, car insurance premiums, life insurance premiums. And I said that I need to raise this amount because right now it's not covering everything, and I have to manually transfer some additional money. Well, I didn't put in my additional money. So let me add that right here for insurance. And I'll sometimes do this towards the end of the month so that I have kind of a little extra buffer just in case. Sometimes it's hard to let go of that money until you absolutely have to because, you know, it feels secure having it in there. But I need to transfer an additional 120, which does bring my 805, and my 120 does bring me to 925. So I had the numbers correct down here, just didn't have everything written in there. Okay, I don't know about you. I don't know if you're the way that I am or not, but I watch a lot of budget videos. In fact, I usually am watching them when I go to sleep at night. I will just turn them on and let them run. And I like trying out different ones and seeing different people's styles and seeing people's real numbers. And I have a tendency to either have the ones that I truly admire and I think they have taught me so much and they're doing such a good job. And then I have the ones where I end up talking to the screen a lot. You didn't add that up right. You didn't, you may need to think about that. I talk to the screen. I don't put it in the comments. I don't want to be negative. And I'm just playing, but you know, you have that opinion. And I thought, man, here I have started off with my very first video. Everybody's going to be looking at me, add up my numbers and go, well, she's not really with it, is she? So I just wanted you to see that I did see this. I also told you that I was going to correct this. The rollover will go into my actual amount, and I do budget with whole numbers, so I took this and changed it, and you're going to see all that right now. Okay. My budget check-ins, that's what this is. This is a budget check-in. I do these, I would say it's a weekly check-in, but I actually do them sometimes 1 to 2 or 3 times a week. Depends on how anxious I am, and it makes it a little easier because it goes really fast. I did tell you in my last my last video that I am a cashless budgeter. So I do basically all of this through debit cards or automatic payments. For that reason, I feel like this part is incredibly important. This is where I track my expenses. I track everything that goes through my bank account, this particular checking account, because it's mostly everything. It's everything that's on my savings. And I could be filling this in right now or covering it up and revealing it, but I didn't want to do that to you or take that kind of time. I'll go over it really quickly, and then I'll show you how I reconcile this to my plan, because that's what I do. I will come in, maybe do this many things on one day, put them in my expense tracker and reconcile them to my budget plan. And then I'll come in and, you know, get down to here, and I'll do that on another day. That way, it really doesn't take more than maybe 10 or 15 minutes to get everything caught up and to know exactly how much money I have. So what I generally do, let me move this out of the way, is I started with $75. If this is anything other than my $50 checking buffer, I usually include a note up here as to what it is. This had a $25 rollover because I didn't go get gas. in the last pay period. I was almost full and I didn't drive much and I didn't go get gas, but I knew that spring break was coming and we might go somewhere, so I wanted to roll that over. So I rolled over $75. Then I always start with my paycheck. I get paid generally this much twice a month. It's been this way for quite a while. There are sometimes little things that will fidget and change it. And at the beginning of the month, I've started getting sometimes a little extra because I do occasionally do some after school tutoring. But this is the regular amount. Like I said, on my plan for my paycheck income, I always underestimate. I know it's going to be probably closer to $1,650. I underestimate. So I'm going to put that I was carrying over the $50 checking buffer. I then add my paycheck and that $25 that I rolled over. I also usually keep this number open if I need to, because if something comes up later, I'm going to have to, I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. It's harder than it looks to think and talk at the same time. Okay, I don't usually total this because if something comes up that I need to take money out of a sinking fund, I will add it to this line right here and then add it in. So I don't total this up right away. Okay, then I did have my transfer to savings, my NEA dues, and then I started on groceries. I'll talk about groceries in a minute. But like I said, in my actual, I put down the amounts to the penny. I keep exact track. All right. Hey, I brought my white out this time because I already messed up. I already did. That was in the wrong place. This says NEA dues, so that goes right here. It's the same amount, so it was confusing. And then I start on groceries. Now, groceries, I go more than once during the pay period. So I don't want to enter them right here individually. What I end up doing, like I said, I recopied these from my actual, because I do it in pencil and it's harder to see. But if you could tell, I had that hole punched for a 3-ring binder. So I keep these in a 3-ring binder and I do them one-sided. I wanted to do them two-sided when I first made them. I really wanted to have it all look like a book. And then I realized I use the backs of these all the time for writing notes, for jotting down numbers, for double checking bank accounts. So I've just gotten in the habit of putting, I think this is my blank sheet of paper for putting behind everything. I put groceries. I put eating out. Put gas. And sometimes I put miscellaneous. A lot of times I don't have miscellaneous expenses, but it's there if I need it. So, as I was saying, I have to make sure I reconcile these, and I don't want to redo everything because I forgot where I was. So when I enter what's on my expense tracker into my budget plan, what I do is I put a little dot. So, say this one right here. We'll start with this. Okay, there's my $50 and my $25 for my $75. Here's my paycheck. Put a little dot by that. Put it right here. Insurance, $150, and I also usually wait to enter it until I have it come out of the bank. My NEA dues. I'm not going to get this right, no matter what I do, am I? Let's try this for what, the third, fourth time? It's not 35. It's 31.25. Come on, Ruth. You've got this. Okay. So then when I get to groceries, I put a dot here and I put my groceries right here. 58, 83, and I put a dot here. Then I know that I have accounted for this. And when I finally get my total, I'll put a check mark. Okay, eating out. We have really reined in our eating out. And we plan on eating out usually once a week on Saturday. Occasionally, we have a second night, but that's what we do. Now, this transfer, I was transferring to my son $35 for the subscription that he, and the subscriptions that he and I share for streaming services. I put that 35 here. It's actually 34, but I usually round up and give him an extra $1. He's a good kid. And this time, I really did, because he stopped at the grocery store for me, got some milk and something that I needed for dinner. So I was reimbursing him for that. So I will put that 15. It was like $15.76 or something. So I really didn't give him any extra money other than maybe 24 cents. But I will put that 15 right there as well. So then I have all these that I have accounted for. Okay, my entertainment budget, I told you I take that out in cash, and I actually do have it in a cash envelope. So I will put that right down here and put my little dot. So I go through and I do all of these. Let's see, YouTube TV, $79.92, little dot. Eating out. One of my book clubs meets once a month at a restaurant and discusses the book while we eat out. I don't always love the restaurants they pick, and they don't always pick restaurants that are teacher salary friendly, as I like to say. But I really don't go out or spend a whole lot on other things, so I've decided I try to limit it and be reasonable, but every now and then and I'm not coming home from that and fixing dinner. So I usually offer to get something for my son as well. And I was really close to Five Guys. He hasn't had a Five Guys burger in a long time. So I got him that. Got some gas, just a little bit, because it seemed like it was really expensive. And I was going to Walmart. I thought, hey, I'll get some at Walmart where it's cheaper. It was 25 cents more expensive. I almost died. Okay, more groceries. This time I got a lot of groceries. But one of the things that my son asked when I was home for spring break, since we decided not to go anywhere, do anything, he's working, was, could we make gumbo? Yes, we have roots in South Louisiana, and we make a chicken sausage gumbo, kind of like my granddad used to make, and my son loves it. And we have not made it in months. We've gone through all of the cold weather and not made any gumbo. So I told him we would do that. Then I had a surprise expense. I hadn't called the guy who does my lawn service. Things were getting a little shaggy, but a lot of that shaggy is cute little spring wildflowers, as I call them. My son calls them weeds. Cute little spring wildflowers that I didn't want cut down. But my next door neighbor, uses the same man. And she called him because she was getting ready to have company over and she wanted her yard mowed. So he came over and started on mine. And so what I essentially did is I pulled the cash out of my entertainment envelope, paid him, and then went and replaced it. So $40 for lawn service. And I'm going to add that down here. I usually add it up in here somewhere, but I've got more room down here. So lawn care. I didn't budget any, but I paid $40. And it's something that I probably should have a sinking fund for, but I don't. So that's the way that goes. But I need to hold up. Okay. Let's see what else. Now I have my utilities, my electric, gas, water, sewer, and T-Mobile. Paid all that this morning. And it is springtime, y'all, which means the bills are lower. Now, I told you I don't do, excuse me, I'm getting my little amounts here. $49.64, and 125. And then I'll explain this as I'm putting my little dots on here. I told you I don't do levelized billing. I don't trust it. There's just something that doesn't sit right with me. So I know, since I have been keeping track of my budget to the penny for at least the last 15 to 18 months, and then I looked at what I had paid, through my account for the months before that. So I've almost got 2 full years of utility bills that I can look at, and I've averaged them. I don't always budget 100 for electric and 150 for gas. I know that between the two of them, they average 250. So I break it up in whatever way. In the summer, the only thing I have natural gas for is my heat. So it's high in the winter. Everything else is electric, and the central air comes on in the summer, and this goes really high, and this goes down to like $15. So between the two of them, that's what it is. Now, does it ever get higher than 250? Absolutely. And that's why I've decided to basically do my own levelizing. You'll notice this comes to roughly $172, close to $172. And this right here, I added these three together because they're supposed to average about 300. So 69.53 plus 102.15 plus 49.64 equals 221. Now, if I subtract 300, or I basically subtract that from 300, I've got 78.68. I'm going to take $75 of that, and I'm going to put it over here in extra savings. I have a utilities sinking fund. It's got about $40 left in it now at the end of the winter, but I didn't budget any. I'm going to put $75 in there so that when those big air conditioning bills come for the electricity in August, July, if it goes over the 250, I've got something kind of tucked away. So that's the way I do my levelized billing. So that, I think, catches me up on my tracker, and this is where I am for right now. I'll do this again in a few days, or at least I will do it by the end of the month, and I will add up all these, and then I'll get to see how much money I have left over for planning. I know I'm going to be over on groceries because of the trying some new recipes over spring break. It was gumbo, and there's a casserole that I'm trying. I know I'm going to be over on eating out because I didn't go to the most budget-friendly places for book club. But I'm probably going to be under because, remember, I still have, this was $25 that I carried forward, and I've only put 20 in right now. So I'm going to be under on that. I budgeted $50 for medical because I have a prescription that I needed. But then I ended up trying and being able to use my HSA card. So I didn't have to have that out of pocket. And I don't have anything planned for miscellaneous right now. So I will get to figure all this out as I kind of add it up as I go. And then I can figure out if I am able to meet all of this plan, or if I'm able to add a little bit more. A lot of times I'll even this up with some of the others. And like I said, my priorities are my emergency fund, probably my home sinking fund, and my car maintenance sinking fund. I have an old home and an old car. We'll talk about the old home in my next video, my debt confession or unconfession or undebt, whatever it is. Stay tuned, you'll see it. But I will come back to this next week and check in with it, and then I will finish it out at the end of the month. So I do this once or twice a week, like I said, when I'm sitting on the couch. Yes, I do it by hand. I keep it by hand. I do not do it in an app. Any of you who have dieted before and been successful sometimes and sometimes not, the way I was the most successful was when I was logging my food. And I know I have to log my spending. I have to log it all. And it's just easy to do it this way for me. That's everything I have for this video. If you find it helpful to see my process and my real numbers, I hope you'll hit the like button and or subscribe to this channel. That will help keep me accountable for posting regular videos and staying on track. if all goes according to plan, I'm about to film I'm about to film kind of an unconventional debt confession. Please stay tuned for that. And very quickly before I go, y'all, I only got the prologue read in my book last night. I filmed my other video yesterday. So I'm on page 9. Is anyone else reading something for a book club and procrastinating? Because I have some serious reading to do. I would love it if you would tell me what you're reading. Leave me a comment below in the comments. It's going to be my turn to recommend our next read, and I could use some suggestions. So I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. This has been something I've thought about doing for over a year. So if you're tuning into this, I am really glad that you're here, because you're kind of making a dream and a goal come true for me. Okay? And I'll see you next time.